The patriarchy. Every time I make a video close to gender or talking about masculine or feminine, I just want to make it clear I'm mainly talking about the energies more than genitalia or identification. So mainly we just talking about masculine and feminine energy and how this played its course out in society. Throughout history, when these energies started manifesting themselves on Earth in the physical form and our bodies started to develop, the masculine manifestation men would tend to go hunt, gather, and protect. And because they could bear children, the feminine woman manifestation would usually tend to home life and take care and nurture the young. Now, long ago, this way of surviving in the physical world just happened naturally and was in balance. And neither gender role or energy type was considered superior or inferior to one or the other. Neither gender role or energy type was associated with anything like leadership or strength. They both found strength in their own ways and both led in their own ways. There were many ancient cultures like in Egypt and like in India where there were feminine leaders and warriors. These cultures worship gods that possess both genders and could switch sexes or were associated with two different physical sexes. But somewhere along the path, humans became afraid of death, their own mortality, and not dominating the environment and controlling nature and everything around them. And this led to the masculine energy, regardless of gender, taking the forefront and trying to dominate the natural world in order to survive. So fast forward to now, and you can see how this plays itself out on many different scales, many different microcosms and macrocosms. On a gender role, person to person, men are placed as the controller of women in most societies. They possess the women and control them both relationship-wise, interpersonally, and in sex. And on a grand macrocosmic scale, you can see how just as a species with our masculine to the forefront, regardless of gender, have kind of tried to dominate and assert ourselves over the earth, where she is a feminine planet. She birthed life here. So this affects everyone, not just humans, all life on earth, and not one or the other gender either. In humans, this overtly suppresses the feminine in the form of domination, but more covertly, it traumatizes the masculine energy as well. So we live in a society where it's pretty deep written rules here that the genitals you possess, the gender that you were born with, determines the side of the spectrum, the side of the scale you were allowed to embody, being masculine or feminine, when we all know we possess both. And this creates the general imbalance where women don't believe that they're meant to lead or be confident, and men don't think they're allowed to be open and receptive to their own feelings or maybe other people's feelings. And now you have women having to fight way harder than they should for representation, for places in society where they're more than capable of being in. And you have men that globally are 3 times more likely to commit suicide because they don't feel like they're allowed to fully open themselves up and receive love. So we know that the gender, the genitalia is more just our physical form, is more just on the surface. But this imbalance is inside of all of us and affects all of us, or most of us who grew up in a society built on this foundation. But fortunately, in this new age, in this Aquarian age, these kids are kind of waking up to themselves. They are taking on that internal imbalance and choosing to liberate themselves from the inside out. A lot of them are taking a deep-rooted generational identity crisis and being brave enough to fight it internally and being even braver to express it in a society that doesn't really fully accept them as they are. And seeing things like this really gives me hope that we are on the road to some kind of balance. But most people do need to recognize this, and it is an important conversation because it affects us all, whether we're aware of it or it's just going on subconsciously. Very much the emotional, mental, physical health of us as societies, as species, depends on this. And the health of the planet depends on this because she's tired of us running the show. She finna balance things out on us for real. And never leaving anything on a negative note. But it's really, I never want to leave anything on a negative note. But if I could say anything, it would just pay attention to these kids. Pay attention to these young kids that were born 2005, 2010 and younger. I was born in 2000, so I'm like right on the edge, kind of in the old world and in the new world, like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But these kids that were like born with all this information from the internet and the digital age and don't have to really accept the rules that their parents laid out for them, the foundation that their parents laid out for them, they really finna change the game and change the way we really have to look at the world. So we watch them and let them teach us about who we are, then we can like really start to heal some of these deep generational imbalances when it comes to the masculine and the feminine and these gender roles and how they fit into this new thing that we've built. So I'll wrap it up there. Listen to the youth. Listen to your intuition. Be honest with yourself. Take care of yourself. Peace.